This is an analysis from Alpha Business Media.
I want you to just close your eyes for a second. Picture this. It's early 2024.
Okay.
We're in Kathmandu. We're walking into the boardroom of, say, a huge commercial bank, or maybe one of the big cement manufacturers. What's the vibe in that room?
Oh, it was like a fever dream. Seriously.
Right, electric.
Mm.
There was this tangible, almost frantic energy. It felt like a new industrial revolution was kicking off right there.
It really did. You had these CEOs, people
Huh.
who normally count every single rupee, just signing these massive checks.
For what?
For AI licenses, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, ChatGPT Enterprise, it was a complete shopping spree.
It was total FOMO, wasn't it? Fear of missing out.
Absolutely. Everyone was terrified that if they didn't have AI slapped on their annual report, they were already dinosaurs.
You know, it reminds me of when companies first started buying that heavy German machinery for factories,
Oh, sure.
or when the banks were in that race to open the flashiest new branch. There was this idea that if you just buy the thing,
The magic just happens.
exactly,
Yeah.
that productivity would just, quantum leap. That customer service would be hyper-personalized tomorrow.
They thought they were buying a finished solution, a magic wand.
Right. And now, here's the cold shower. Fast forward with me to mid-2025, just 18 months later.
The hangover is setting in.
The mood in those boardrooms, it's gone from electric to panic. The dashboards aren't showing a revolution. They're showing a flat line. They're calling it the AI productivity paradox.
And the numbers we're looking at today are just brutal.
Lay it on me. How bad is it?
Well, this analysis shows that 60% of these really ambitious AI pilots in Nepal, they failed.
Fail how?
Failed to show any clear return on investment. 60%.
60. That seems unbelievably high for a technology that's meant to be the smartest thing ever. Are we sure this isn't just user error? Or they bought the cheap version?
It's not about the software version. And honestly, 60% is probably a conservative number for failed ROI. Yeah, when you look at the qualitative data, it's even messier. Employee adoption was sporadic. You'd have a team try a tool for a week, get frustrated because it didn't get the local context.
Oh, then what?
And then they'd quietly go back to their old Excel sheets.
So they spent millions of rupees to go back to Excel.
In essence, yeah. Those tools that looked so slick in the Silicon Valley demo videos, they just seemed clumsy and awkward when they hit the reality of doing business in Nepal.
So that's the big mystery for us today. Why? Did the tech just fail? Because, I use these things. They seem pretty smart.
And that's the crucial point. The technology didn't fail.
The strategy failed.
The strategy failed. This whole deep dive is about what we're calling the implementation gap. Companies treated a generalist engine like it was a complete, ready-to-drive car.
Okay, I like that analogy. So they bought the engine.
They bought the engine, the large language model, but they didn't build the chassis, the data structure, and they definitely didn't install a steering wheel, which is the AI ops team.
Let's push on that a bit. You say generalist engine, but these things have passed the bar exam, medical boards.
Uh-huh.
How can they be generalists if they're that smart? How are they not smart enough for an Nepali bank?
That brings us to the first major trap. We call it the empty vessel problem.
The empty vessel. What's that?
Think of it like this. An LLM is brilliant at language, and it knows general public knowledge. It's read the whole internet.
Right.
It can write you a poem, it can code in Python, it can summarize the history of Nepal. But, and this is the most important part, within the private, firewalled reality of your company,
It knows nothing.
it is a completely empty vessel. It's profoundly, deeply ignorant of your company's internal world.
So it's like hiring a Harvard genius who's never set foot in Nepal and asking them to run your branch in Bharatnagar.
It's even worse than that. It's like hiring a world-class librarian. This person has read every book ever published. Then you drop them your bank and say, okay, approve this home loan.
They'd know what a loan is, in theory.
In theory. But do they know your specific credit scoring model? Your risk appetite? Do they know about the internal memo that went out yesterday about pausing real estate lending?
No, of course not. None of that is on the public internet.
Exactly. So the AI starts to hallucinate. It just makes stuff up because it doesn't have the textbook for your company.
And there was a real-world example of this in the sources, right?
Right.
With a bank.
A painful one. A big commercial bank rolled out a chatbot for 247 support.
A classic play. Deflect call center volume.
Right. So a customer asks us a pretty simple question. What's the process and interest rate for a home loan for a property in Lalitpur?
Seems like a softball question.
For a human, yes. But the AI, it just gave a generic answer from its global training, quoted a standard interest rate, but it missed all the crucial local stuff,
Like what?
like the bank's preferential rates for government employees. And much worse, it had no idea about the documentation you need for the Malpot.
Oh, God. The Land Revenue Office. If you get the Malpot paperwork wrong, you're not getting a loan. You're not even getting through the door.
Precisely. The AI gave a checklist that was technically correct in some global sense, but totally useless in Nepal. It even became a compliance risk.
How?
It actually contradicted specific directives from the Nepal Rashtra Bank about loan-to-value ratios inside the valley versus outside.
So it wasn't just unhelpful. It was potentially illegal advice.
All because they tried to replace a seasoned expert with a calculator. They didn't ground the AI. The technical term is RG, Retrieval Augmented Generation.
What do you mean?
Meaning you have to build a system so the AI can look up your internal documents before it answers. They didn't build that system, they just switched it on.
Okay, banking is complex. I get that. But what about something more physical, like logistics? The source mentions a big FMCG company, fast-moving consumer goods. Surely an AI can figure out how to ship noodles from point A to point B?
You would think so. This company, they tried to use it to optimize their whole supply chain.
So they fed it their locations and asked for the best routes.
Yep, and let me guess what you're thinking.
It didn't account for the traffic jam at Nagdunga.
It was so much worse than that. The model was trained on global logistics data, U.S. interstates, European highways. It assumes highway means a certain average speed. It could not comprehend the reality of the Prixie Highway during monsoon season.
I mean, anyone who's driven that road knows distance is irrelevant. It's all about road conditions.
The AI didn't know about landslides, or that a bridge near Mugling is one way for repairs. It didn't know the capacity limits of the warehouse in Butwal versus the one in Bharatnagar. But here's the real kicker.
Go on.
It completely failed to account for the Kirana stores.
The little mom and pop shops.
Thousands of them. And they don't order on some fancy digital system. They call the distributor on WhatsApp, or they just tell the driver, hey, drop off 10 more boxes of noodles when the truck shows up.
That's invisible data. It's not in a spreadsheet anywhere.
It's totally informal. The AI looked at the clean, formal data and said, optimize this. But the real business, the thing that actually makes the company run, was happening in those informal margins. The AI's routes were mathematically perfect, practically useless.
Which brings us right to the second massive problem. We've talked about the AI being an empty vessel. But even if you want to fill it, what are you filling it with? The source describes the data situation in Nepal as a swamp.
Data disorganization.
Yeah.
This is the digital Achilles heel of so many Nepali businesses.
Is it really that bad, though? I mean, they have computers, they use Tally, they use Excel.
And that's exactly the problem. It's all in Tally and Excel. Think about the average company here, often family-owned, very siloed departments.
Right.
Accounts has the real numbers in Tally. The sales team tracks their performance on 5 different Excel sheets on 5 different laptops. And customer history. That might literally be in a handwritten logbook at the front desk.
A handwritten logbook. You're talking about dark data.
It's dark because the AI literally cannot see it. You can't feed a physical book to ChatGPT. And there's a cultural reason for this too. Information is power.
Keeping your data on your own laptop is a form of job security.
Or let's be honest, sometimes the official books aren't the same as the actual books.
The double bookkeeping issue. If you digitize everything, you become transparent. And not everyone wants that.
Precisely. So the CEO says, implement AI. And the engineers look at the server and ask, okay, where's the data? And the answer they get is, it's on Ramesh's laptop and he's on holiday.
There's an analogy in the notes for this that I think is perfect. Hydropower.
Yes. Since we're in Nepal, this is the one everyone gets. Think of your raw data as a massive river. Huge potential energy, right? That's your sales data, customer interaction.
But a river on its own doesn't do anything. It just floods. It carries debris.
It's wild water. To get power, you need a dam.
The dam. Okay.
The dam is data engineering. It's the boring, heavy-lifting infrastructure. It traps the water, cleans it, removes the sediment, and channels it properly.
And the AI is?
The AI is the turbine.
Oh, I see where this is going. The CEOs all bought the turbine.
They bought a Ferrari-level turbine, the most expensive high-tech AI model you can get. And they just plopped it down in the middle of a muddy, flooding river.
And then they were shocked when it got clogged with silt and broke.
Or it just spun erratically and generated garbage hallucinations. But here's the timeline problem. Building a dam takes what, 5, 10 years?
And buying a turbine takes 5 minutes on a credit card.
That's the mismatch. Building data, infrastructure, cleaning spreadsheets, digitizing logbooks. It's slow, unglamorous, expensive work. It's civil engineering. But buying a Copilot license feels like progress today.
So everyone went for the quick win and ignored the actual engineering.
The source contrasts this with India, where things like the India Stack, Aadhaar, and UPI sort of forced a level of data standardization from the top down.
But in Nepal, that doesn't really exist.
Not in the same way. The burden is on the individual company to build its own dam.
Okay, so let's say a CEO is listening and gets it. Fine, they say, I'll build the dam. I'll clean my data. Who does that work? This gets us to the third failure point, doesn't it? The missing brigade.
This is where it all falls apart on the people side. In 2024, when these projects started, who did the CEO call?
The IT department. It's software. Call the IT guys.
And that is a fundamental category error. Traditional IT, especially in Nepal, is about plumbing.
Keeping the lights on.
Exactly. Keep the Wi-Fi on, make sure the servers are running, prevent the core banking system from crashing. They are custodians. They are not business process translators.
So you need a new kind of team.
A whole new function.
Right.
The source calls it AI operations or ML ops, and it's not one person, it's a brigade, a cross-functional team.
Who's in this brigade? What does it look like?
It's like a three-legged stool. First, you need the data engineer. This is your dam builder. Their only job is to build pipelines, to pull data out of Tally and Excel, clean it, and structure it so the robot can read it.
Okay, leg one, the plumber. Who's leg two?
Leg two is the domain expert, and this is the one most companies miss. This is not a tech person.
So who is it?
It's your veteran loan officer who's been there 20 years, your senior factory manager, the person who knows about the Malpot and the landslides on the Prithvi Highway.
But those two people usually don't even talk to each other, do they?
They speak different languages. The tech person speaks Python. The business person speaks credit risk. They sit in different buildings.
So you need a translator.
That's leg number 3. The AI integrator or prompt engineer. This is a brand new role. This person sits in the middle. They listen to the wisdom of the domain expert. Hey, you have to check for Malpot documents. And they write the code and the prompts to force the AI to follow that rule every single time.
It sounds great in theory. But where do you find these people in Nepal?
That's the problem. You don't. Not easily. Our universities are producing great software developers, and they're producing great MBAs. They are not producing these business techno-translators.
So we have a huge talent gap.
A massive one. And that's why the pilots failed. You had IT guys guessing what a loan officer needs, or a loan officer trying to use ChatGPT without knowing how to prompt it. Just a total disconnect.
Okay, so knowing all this, the empty vessel, the data swamp, the talent gap, what happens next? The source predicts a split in the market, a bifurcation.
Yeah, over the next 24 to 36 months, you're going to see two very different groups emerge. Majority, maybe 90% of companies.
The ones who failed their pilots.
They're going to walk right into what's called the valley of despair.
That sounds bad.
It's a normal part of the hype cycle. They'll look at their failed projects and say, you know what? AI was just hype. It didn't work. Let's cancel the licenses and go back to how we did things before.
Back to the handwritten logbooks.
Exactly. They will mistake the steep learning curve for a fundamental flaw in the tool. They'll think the turbine is broken when the real problem is that they never built the dam.
And the other 10%, the smart minority.
They're going to go quiet. They'll realize that just buying another license isn't the answer, so they'll stop. They'll stop issuing press releases about how tech-forward they are.
And what will they do instead in the quiet?
They'll start a period of preparation. They will spend the next 2 years doing that dirty, boring work we talked about, auditing data, digitizing records, and most importantly, building that internal AI ops brigade.
So while the 90% are giving up, the 10% are secretly building their dam.
Yes. And then around 2027, 2028, these companies are going to reemerge. And they won't just have generic ChatGPT. They'll have proprietary AI workflows.
Like what?
Like a loan approval system that knows the Malpot rules inside and out and approves a loan in 20 minutes instead of 20 days.
And that's a competitive advantage you can't just buy. It's a moat.
It's unbeatable because the advantage at that point isn't the software. Everyone can buy the software. The advantage is your proprietary workflow and your clean, structured data. You can't outsource that.
That's a really key point. You can't just hire a big consulting firm to come in and install AI for you.
A consultant can show you the blueprint for the dam, but you have to pour the concrete. If you outsource your core business logic to a vendor, you're essentially outsourcing your company's brain. The real winners will build this capability in-house.
It totally flips the script on what tech adoption means. It's not about who buys the new thing first.
It's about who has the discipline to prepare the longest. Discipline over speed.
Okay, let's start to wrap this up. We've covered a lot. We've figured out why that 2024 hype train went off the rails. It wasn't the tech. It was the lack of context, the empty vessel.
Right, and the messy infrastructure, the data swamp.
And not having the right people.
Right.
The missing brigade. And the big takeaway is that AI is not a product you buy off a shelf.
It's a practice you have to build from the ground up.
I think for anyone listening, whether you're a CEO or a manager or just trying to figure this all out, it's a huge wake-up call. The easy part, the buying part, is over. The hard work is just beginning.
If I could leave you with one final thought, something to really chew on, it would be this.
Please.
There's a hard truth waiting for every business leader in Kathmandu right now. The future doesn't belong to the companies that buy AI first. It belongs to the ones who are willing to do the messy, difficult, unglamorous work of organizing their own house first.
Their data, their processes.
Their data, their processes, and their people. If your house is in order, AI is a superpower. If your house is a mess, AI is just a very expensive magnifying glass for your own chaos.
A magnifying glass for chaos. That is a brilliant and honestly terrifying image to end on. Thank you for walking us through this reality check.
My pleasure.
And to you listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Don't go buying any turbines until you've checked your river. We'll see you next time.